It's Tuesday, the 5th of July, 2022. Welcome to the Fast Five by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, 5 stories in 5 minutes. Let's jump into it. Story number 1, the Aussie dollar is getting plenty of attention at the moment. It's trading just above 68 US cents, though most economists think that it should actually be higher. But against currencies apart from the US dollar, it isn't faring too badly.
Yeah, that's right. Given commodity prices, notwithstanding the fall in recent weeks, have been so high, the currency has really been an underperformer, particularly against the US dollar. A month ago, it was closer to 72 US cents. As you said, it's now closer to 68 US cents. The key reason for its underperformance is because it's highly leveraged to what happens in China. And if the world's second largest economy accelerates, it buys more iron ore and other goods from Australia and needs Aussie dollars, and the currency appreciates. But China remains weak. It's also suffering from strength in the US dollar. The greenback is considered a safe place for investors to park their money, so that's what's happening. But if you look beyond the greenback, the Aussie dollar is not doing too badly. It's actually up against the British pound. It's down against the euro, but against the yen, it's kind of been a bit of both. Against the New Zealand dollar, it's trended higher. What's all this means? Well, it's actually good for the economy because it makes our exports relatively cheaper and therefore more attractive to overseas buyers. And imports become more expensive, so we look for locally produced goods to buy. Not so good if you're travelling overseas to the US, obviously. Maybe it's time to take a trip to the United Kingdom.
All right, on to story number 2, Sean, and it's really all about the Reserve Bank meeting today. The widely held view is that the central bank will lift interest rates by a fairly hefty 50 basis points today. That'll take the cash rate to 1.35% and standard variable interest rates to around 5.5%.
Yep, they sure have gone up a lot. Now, of course, if home borrowers shop around, they can probably get a better deal. But no doubt repaying the mortgage is getting a lot more expensive, and it will keep going that way. The Reserve Bank Governor, Philip Lowe, has hinted that a cash rate of about 2.5% is close to neutral. And so if the bank wants to get more neutral settings to help it keep a lid on inflation, then that's exactly where rates are going. Won't do much to help equity markets, but of course, if banks start passing through higher rates to deposit accounts, there'll be plenty of pensioners pretty happy about that.
All right, story number 3, Sean. The east coast of Australia is getting hammered with torrential rain at the moment. What's the latest on the floods crisis?
Well, it isn't good news for New South Wales, with the state's Emergency Management Minister Murray Watt saying that around Sydney, flood levels are as bad as earlier in the year. SES crews have been performing non-stop rescues around Greater Sydney with people trapped in cars and homes as waters rise faster than during the March disaster. And there's a stranded tanker ship off the coast of southern Sydney, which has no power due to the storms. There are real fears it could run aground, and plans to rescue the crew have been pushed back until at least today due to conditions. Parts of Sydney, Michael, have received more than 4 times the normal July rainfall in 2 days. And interestingly, when the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese left Ukraine yesterday into Poland, the first call he made was actually to the New South Wales Premier to see what was happening on the floods.
Sean, story number 4. We've spoken a lot about rising petrol prices and higher energy costs in recent months, but phone bills are also rising, and that's likely to cause a shift in customer behaviour away from the major mobile carriers towards budget operators.
Yes, the telco industry is growing again after 18 months of contraction during the pandemic, and the big carriers are lifting prices. According to a report in the Financial Review, Telstra has already lifted the price of its mobile phone services by between $2 and $4 a month. A new report from telco research group Telsight says the 2 other majors, Optus and Vodafone, are also in positions to lift prices, particularly as people move onto 5G. The study found that 17% of customers already use what's known as mobile virtual network operators. That's basically smaller players who use physical networks operated by the big 3, and that figure has been rising since 2019. Another fact that came out of it, Michael, which I thought was interesting, was there are 37 million services in operation. That's basically 37 million mobile phone accounts.
That is a lot of phone numbers. All right, story number 5, Sean, our last one. Some of the best drama comes from business, doesn't it? And this story is an absolute cracker. Wirecard was a high-flying German tech company. It collapsed in the middle of 2020. It was one of the biggest ever collapses in Europe. Now, its former head of accounting has admitted to forging documents requested by its special auditor, KPMG.
Yeah, it's kind of the Enron of Europe in recent years. It fell into insolvency after admitting half of its stated revenues of nearly €2 billion didn't exist. The former chief accountant is one of 3 executives charged with fraud, breach of trust and market manipulation. He had denied any wrongdoing, but according to the Financial Times, he's now conceded that he forged a report for the special auditor, KPMG. The 3 executives are due to stand trial later this year, but a bit of a bombshell over the last 48 hours just about what was going on at Wirecard.
Yeah, just amazing story, that one. All right, that's it. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Tuesday, the 5th of July, 2022. Remember to hit follow on the podcast, and if 5 minutes isn't enough for you, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.